Good evening, folks. This is Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, bringing you a grand solar minimum update on Tuesday, February 27th, midnight, 2018 Mountain Time. What you're looking at is Sinabung erupting for the second time since the major eruption that kicked off Monday morning, February 19th. The volcano erupted in a massive explosion that sent volcanic ash 55,000 feet or 10.4 miles into the sky, making it the largest such eruption since the period of activity started in 2013. Now, this is a follow-up eruption to that major eruption which happened just 36 hours ago. And what I want you to glean from this picture is that this mountain is not done. Look at the power. The volcanic gases erupting. Thank you, Nichelle Homestay. Now, she's covering this volcano. She's got a local bed and breakfast with a live stream there. And these images are coming from YukiZE, doing an excellent job over there live streaming all the major volcanoes that are erupting currently. Look at the power of this volcano. So in the last 36 hours, we've had lots of activity coming off of Sinabung. Not just the February 19th eruption. There have been other eruptions that the mainstream media is not covering, but we are. So I'll leave you links to that video and several others. Let's get on with the update. Weather Ready Nation map here. You can see gale warnings have moved into New Mexico here. This is a red flag warning for high winds and low moisture. But let's come over here and quick look at Southern California where there's winter warnings, winter storm warnings in effect, as well as most of northern Nevada here. And if you come down here to Southern California and San Diego, there are winter weather advisories. And where the flooding has occurred, we have flood watches in effect in northern Louisiana, eastern Texas, southern Arkansas, northern Mississippi, and western Tennessee here. And that's because if you look in these olive drab colors, they're expecting 2 to 3 more inches in the next 48 hours in these zones, which are going to cause major flooding in this area. So we're going to be watching this area for epic flooding to occur in the next 3 days. And that's just a word of warning and a word to the wise. Now let's look at the weekly timeline in the Sierras and the western Nevada. It's not looking good for you starting on Wednesday night through Thursday. Heavy Sierra snows are likely to continue all the way through Sunday, with a very high impact level on Thursday and Friday. And those were the regions in western Nevada and the Sierras, East Central California. Snow to affect the Interstate 5 corridor and other mountain passes tonight through Tuesday evening. And this is snow levels lowering to 2,500 feet tonight. Accumulations of 2 to 6 inches in Los Angeles, Oxnard. There will be winter weather driving conditions in the LA and Ventura County mountains and the Antelope and Cumia valleys. Slick roads and low visibility is possible in all mountain passes. Heads up, LA. Let's go further south to San Diego. Willie, you're getting pummeled. Winter storm to bring snow and rain tonight through Tuesday. Major impact tonight through Tuesday evening. Snow levels falling to 2,000 feet Tuesday. Impacts, chain restrictions likely in the mountains. Snow may hinder travel in the Cajon Pass along 15 and at Sunrise Summit along 8. Snowfall records fall in northwest Montana. Boom! Blizzard warnings were just issued there, but in Missoula, as we near the end of February, we are seeing record-breaking snow in the northwest Montana. The National Weather Service reports the folks in East Glacier, where all of the last 2 years they've been reporting on Glacier National Park, all the glaciers melting away. Well, this is a heads up because they're full of shite. The National Weather Service reports the folks in East Glacier have seen 234.5 inches of snow this season so far, which is surpassing the 30-year average by more than 80 inches. Can you say grand solar minimum much? That is a boom. The glaciers in Glacier National Park have begun growing again, which is to be expected at some point as we descend into the next glacial period. They stop shrinking and they start growing. And with snow levels like this, I would think that the glaciers in Glacial National Park would be growing this year. Great Falls has seen more than 72 inches of snow, with just under half of that number fell this month alone. These are insane records in Montana. Metro Detroit weather, rest of the week brings possible record highs with a chance of snow. That's a heads up. You can't get that in any other season but the grand solar minimum season. Heaviest snowfall in Rome in 6 years and the largest for the end of February in over 30 years. A rare snowstorm hit Rome on February 26, 2018, as predicted by Oppenheimer Ranch and others, causing severe traffic disruptions and forcing authorities to shut down schools and tourist attractions. Snow fell in the Italian capital for the first time in 6 years today, and it will continue to fall there every year starting now. UK weather forecast. Commuters warned of major travel disruptions amid heavy snowfall and bitter cold as the beast from the east makes this guy get this grin. He's totally amazed. How come they don't make them button their top button in the UK? Totally sloppy. Look at how sloppy this guy looks. I wouldn't believe a word he's saying if it weren't for this sign. Roads to be closed. Commuters are being warned to prepare for major disruptions this morning after heavy snowfall blanketed huge swaths of the UK overnight. Heads up! London and Southeast have been issued with an amber warning for snow showers by the Met Office due to a wintry blast dubbed the Beast from the East, which is causing temperatures to tumble. Now, guys, the major impact for this isn't coming till Wednesday and Thursday, when there's up to 1 meter of snow predicted for Thursday. So as we get closer to that date, we're going to be monitoring the GFS models because forecasters now say that more than 20 centimeters of snow could settle by Wednesday, but that does not include Thursday. Now, the country is potentially facing its coldest weather since 1991, and I believe that's an understatement. It's coming from the Evening Standard. The beast from the east bringing record low temperatures. We're over here at the SWI Swiss Info channel. So it's not only the UK, other parts of Europe are going to be pummeled. Now, Switzerland is receiving some of the highest snowfall totals in decades, which you haven't heard of because the mainstream media is not reporting on it. You cannot report on the highest snowfall totals ever during global warming. So herein lies the problem. The so-called beast from the east weather front has hit Switzerland already to overtake the UK by Thursday in a big way, but already in Switzerland temperatures have dropped as low as negative 28.9, minus 28.9 for those that prefer that term, in the canton of Graubünden in the early hours of Monday, the coldest morning of the Swiss winter so far, breaking records. Now, the meteorological spring begins in just 3 days, but the Swiss could not have been forgiven for thinking that it has been postponed when they woke up this morning. Thanks to a Siberian cold front, the temperatures recorded at the top of Europe was minus 26.9 C. At the summit of the Saint-Quentin de Saint-Gallen, it was minus 22.5. The lower lying regions of the country were much warmer, with temperatures at the minus 10 C mark, minus 12.2 and 10.3 respectively in the cities of St. Gallen and Zurich. Maximum temperatures at 2,000 meters will not climb above a frosty minus 18 C on Monday, and even lower regions in the country, daytime temperatures have not reached much more than minus 5 C. That is the high in the entire Swiss region. Brussels are to force homeless into shelters during this cold snap. That's a good thing because people will be frozen in place. Good job, Brussels. Unprecedented hailstorm we covered yesterday has some amazing pictures, injuring more than 50 people. This is what they were calling marbles. Grand solar minimum much. A violent hailstorm hit Al Madinah and other regions of Saudi Arabia on Sunday morning. We reported on it immediately. Now, the hailstones were not marble size. They were tennis ball size. And this causes death. Over 50 people were injured. And we're not getting all the facts, I'm sure. I had this parsed up, but this is dangerous stuff. Look at the size of these. These are some of the injured people. These are children running for their lives. I'll leave you links to the insanity. It's only going to get worse. Seismic update. We have a major uptick worldwide as predicted because the rotation of the Earth is slowed this year. Plus the grand solar minimum is ensuing. So 6.1s in Indonesia are going to be the norm. Should be happening weekly. And here we have a 6.1, 45 kilometers northeast of Buyaya in Indonesia. Major aftershocks in the Papua New Guinea area, reaching up to 5.6 in just the last hour. And we have a 5.5 in Vanuatu. So this is the region we're watching because this is where the historic major volcanic eruptions occur in the next decade based on historical information. So we should be looking at several, maybe up to a dozen VEI 4s and 5s happening in the next 12 years from this region alone. And that's a heads up. Lots to talk about in the volcanic front today. Mayon volcano eruption news and updates. Lava flows remain active. Resumption of explosive activity has returned. And here they're obfuscating from the danger. It says overall, no significant changes have occurred. However, after a 2-day lull, explosive activity has resumed. Now, if that's not significant, I don't know what is. So, the narrative coming out from the mainstream is nonsense. And that's a boom. If explosive activity resumes after it stopped, then I would say that that is a significant change. That's based on vocabulary. So Mayon has gone from quiet to active. Here we have footage just 24 hours ago. Mayon erupting. These are the lava fountains that are beginning to re-emerge, which were happening prolifically weeks ago and stopped. But now there's been a significant uptick in lava fountaining, which we are seeing here live, filmed just 24 hours ago. Thank you, YukiZE. She's got coverage of all the erupting volcanoes in the last 24 hours, including Sacajarima. Here's the volcanic activity for the 26th of February, 2018. Fuego, Popocatépetl, Dukono, Reventador, Mayon, and Sabancaya. Let's talk about Sacajarima. I do not have the coverage, but YukiZE does. Go watch it erupt in the last 24 hours. There was volcanic ash observed. Mayon has an uptick in lava fountaining. Bagana, we talked about that yesterday, is reactive in Papua New Guinea. Volcanic ash advisory again today reported. Dukono, continuous volcanic ash emissions. Popocatépetl, discrete volcanic ash emission. Fuego in Guatemala. We have ongoing intermittent volcanic ash emission. Reventador in Ecuador, ongoing volcanic ash. Sabancaya in Peru. Detected and observed volcanic ash detected. Currently erupting on the left is over 35 volcanoes, which was just 27 when we started reporting 7 months ago, and eruption warning and minor activity in over 50. including Torrealba, Swanosima. This is where the skiers were injured just weeks ago. So, heads up. 7 up. Eyes open. Lot to cover. Let's take a quick look at the re-eruption of Mount Sinabung, because it's worth it. And thank you for the universe for letting this cloud cover dissipate right before the major puff explodes. Here comes the first daytime eruption after the major eruption on February 19th. It's just about to happen right now. Watch the ash build. Amazing power that the earth is unleashing. Now, guys, while this is happening, there are over a dozen other volcanoes doing this at the same time. Now, I think that there are millions of people across the world that would want to be watching this on the nightly news, as opposed to all the other disinformation and nonsense you're being fed. So I just want to thank you all for being realists and to tuning into our channel to get the real information. So you should be sharing this with all the sheeple out there, because we need to open some eyes. Now, here's some eye-opening information. Cisco's John Chambers is investing in a robotic cricket farm. Who was the first person to report on this? My friend Christian Westbrook over at Ice Age Farmer, where he's growing his own crickets. Now, John Chambers, you got to watch this video. He's saying crickets are the future. In 3 years, half the population of the earth are going to be eating cricket protein. And these robotic farms are very sustainable. They produce no waste and all the protein we need. This is a smart guy. He's a billionaire, and he deserves to be it, because his ideas are groundbreaking and the way of the future. Now, you should also be gleaning some information. If this guy knows where the money's at, he also knows what's happening in the future. And he's just saying that, yeah, well, our food is a little weak and our systems are weak, but blah, 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 blah. But he knows what's up. He knows what's happening, and he's seen the graphics. He's seen the charts. He watches our channel. I'm sure he does. Just not a subscriber. I can't get enough of Tree Hugger, but you guys should. Take a look at this geodesic dome built over a house in the Arctic Circle. Protects Cobb House and family of 6. You can watch the video. I'll leave you links. The Intellicast forecast. I have no idea why that's up there. I'll leave you links to that. Now, guys, the world is burning up. Here's the last 24 hours minimum temperatures. In Antarctica, it is averaging minus 50 degrees, with records being broken in the last 24 hours at these 1, 2, 3, 4 stations. It's really cold in Russia, too. There's very little Arctic ice melting. But that's what the headlines are saying. It's the hottest it's ever been in the Arctic, and the ice is melting away, and we're going to get to that nonsense. Because just what happened this year was the coldest Arctic temperature ever recorded on the planet in the summer. Yeah, the coldest July temperature ever recorded happened in the northern hemisphere at minus 33 C at the summit of Greenland. The glacier they're telling you is melting, which I can assure you is not happening. But what I can tell you is happening is that the greenhouse gas theory is dead. Officially, 1980 to 2018, the 38 years of nonsense that we've been fed is over. It's just the beginning of the year, but it is predicted that the greenhouse gas theory is ending and will not be mentioned after the end of the year. Fresh analysis of government scientific records reveals the idea of long-settled science in the greenhouse gas theory is a myth. The claim human emissions of carbon dioxide act as a control knob on climate only appeared in consensus science since the 1980s. Apparently the sheep, hook, line, and sinker, bought it. And since then, official records show that the theory has been abandoned. Whoa! And that's a boom. and we're going to erase it. Now, scientists are stunned, according to EcoWatch. This is nonsense. Off the charts Arctic temperatures and record low sea ice. This is coming out today. Here's the record heat. This extreme event continues to unfold in the Arctic. In response to a surge of moisture and warmth, quote unquote. Notice how they put it in quotes. The record heat in the Arctic. You know what that means? It means it's minus 10 there. What they're showing you is a temperature anomaly graph, which is not the true temperature. It's the departure from norm. And descending into a grand solar minimum is anything from the norm. So we should see major departures from norm, as in these blue areas, which is colder than normal over land, all of Scandinavia and Europe here, Eastern Europe. And look, all of the United States here in the northern tier, where all the wheat grows, well below normal. In the Arctic, it looks red because they're showing you temperature anomaly, but it's still minus 15 C. There's nothing melting at minus 15 C. These idiots. It goes further. Really extreme global weather events leave scientists aghast. And here they're lying. They're saying it's a latitude of 80 degrees have broken away from the previous record in the past 60 years. Of course they have, because we're descending into a cold period. So they're saying this is super hot. The extreme heat at minus 10 in the Arctic. Have you been in minus 10? I can assure you this is not extreme heat. It's so pathetic. Let's go to the GFS model and see what the global warming alarmists glommed onto. Here is the current temperature in the Arctic. I'm going to point at the Arctic Circle here. The Arctic Circle is currently minus 27 degrees. These lighter blue areas are minus 5. So there is a warm air that has pushed into here. Now, if we go back a few days, look at this warm patch. It is below freezing here in the Arctic Circle for a day. Just for one day. There it is, one day below freezing. And then look what happens today. It's minus 30. Minus 35 in the Arctic Circle. And let's run the progression through. Starting now, February 27th, 28th, minus 35. March 5th, minus 35. It gets even colder by March 6th. In fact, by March 7th, the Arctic Circle is going to be colder than it has been all winter at minus 40 degrees for the entire region. Between minus 30 and minus 40 for the entire Arctic Circle. Do you think this is going to build ice? I wonder if minus 40 will build ice in the Arctic in the middle of spring. March 8th, March 9th, March 10th, March 12th, still minus 35 in all of the Arctic. In fact, minus 35 comes into Canada well into spring. Here we are in the middle of March, and the entire Arctic Circle is at minus 35 degrees. What will global warming alarmists be saying in the spring when the Arctic ice is at record levels? They'll be saying nothing, because every year it will be more difficult to lie. Let's look at the sea ice thickness as of today. It's over 5 meters thick here in the Northern Passage. There are no ships getting through here. There hasn't been a single ship since December that has gotten through the Northern Passage. The Northern Passage has been travelable for the last 5 years. This is the first year it has been blocked. In the hottest year ever. The ice is built beyond the mean of the last several years. And there's nothing else we can say. We can even go back to 2003 and see that the Arctic ice is the same as it is today in 2018. 2003 is the same as 2018. What you want to take note of here is Hudson Bay is much thinner ice in 2003 as there is today. There's much thicker ice in these areas in North America than there was in 2003. The ice is thicker 15 years later after all of the nonsense of the Arctic going away. 2003, check out Hudson Bay. 2018, more ice. More ice in the Arctic, more thick ice. More thick ice in the Northern Passage. The Northern Passage was completely travelable in 2003. Today, not so much. This ice is almost 20 foot thick in this region. You can't get a ship through here. I don't care what ship you build. And that's a heads up. Guys, I hope you got something out of the video. Times are changing, and that's a boom. The time is now to start preparing. If you want to survive and thrive in the future, throw your television out the window and watch the entire series that we started 7 months ago. There's lots of information I've shared, and if you haven't watched every video, it's a Netflix night, and Oppenheimer Ranch is on the draw.